So, let's say you've got someone who is experiencing a lot of fluctuations in their energy level, their spiritual energy level. How would you handle that? What kind of things would you...
Like they personally are having fluctuations in the energetic level, or they're dealing with people?
They're having difficulty maintaining that positive outlook and going within themselves, and it's
like negative emotions type of thing?
Yeah, a lot of fluctuating up and down.
How would they stabilize? How would you
stabilize? Well, I think one thing is you want to eat, I would eat more grounding foods, so like fruits and vegetables and things that, because to some degree, a lot of that sugar and different processed stuff kind of makes the body erratic in one way. Also, you need meditation, like I said, is a good way to kind of quiet the mind. But also, you need to look at your beliefs, and you need to look at your emotions. Because if you're having a lot of negative emotions, it could be your soul's way of your ego mind and your soul clashing about things that you're not either willing to look at or you need to look at from a different perspective. So let's say you're angry about certain themes. Maybe these are themes you're supposed to be exploring at this time in your life so you can process them, so you can get on with whatever you're supposed to be doing. But like I said earlier, your emotions are indicators of misalignment. Is they're negative. And taking time to actually feel those feelings and acknowledge them, don't run from them, but to embrace them is important, because there's things they can teach you from it. I struggle still with, like, one day I'm feeling great. I feel most days optimistic, but every once in a while I'm like, I should have did this, I should have did that. And I'm like, why? I'm judging myself. I have a negative self-judgment of myself. And I'm looking at it from this perspective. And then if I can kind of get myself out of that, it's like this boomerang effect, boom. Then I have all this creativity, inspiration, and power I can bring towards an idea that I didn't have before, because I can't do this, I don't have this, I don't, And so a lot of it, I think, is a negative judgment of self. I think taking time to ground yourself through foods and meditation's good, getting plenty of water in, clean water, and doing things that you are passionate about to kind of buffer that negative energy as much as you can. And it needs to be something that you're passionate, exciting about, because you need that extra passion to get you through those moments of the day when you feel like, I want to say the F word, but depending on who's watching this, F, you need that to kind of carry you and to give you that force of will when you're at those kind of low moments. It's like momentum. Every day that you're passionate and you're doing that you're passionate, it builds momentum. And so the first day of the week, you may have just a little passion, but you can build it, particularly if you're doing things you're passionate about. By the end of the week, you can build it up to a certain point where it's like, F whatever's going on here, I'm still going to carry on until I can get to my next passionate moment or stuff like that. So those are ways of doing it. But definitely look at your emotions. And chances are, if it's a lot of ups and downs, you have a lot of negative self-judgment going on there that can be looked at, which is what coaching can help with. Or one tool coaching can help with. But you have the power. Everyone has the power. It's just sometimes we need help to bring it out, bring it forth. But yeah, let's say look at that. And it's a case-by-case basis, And sometimes it's things that we don't want to do, like getting out of relationships, or moving when we need to move, or saying goodbye to old friends who just aren't going to work for us, or realizing that I've spent 5 years at this job, I've worked hard, and I'm at the wrong place. And if I leave, people are going to say, are you crazy? But the reality is that you're not crazy. It's your soul's way of saying, you really are supposed to be on this path. And you just won't. It's hard to let go of this, but you have to let go of this to move into this path, because that's your true self. That's your true best ability to be the best, express yourself to the fullest, That's why I think passion is very important, to have that and to bring that forth. And then once you start to build that passion and you look for activities that could potentially be a career in that passion, your mind starts to shift, your heart starts to shift, your desire starts to shift in a way that It's powerful, I think. Yeah, it's very powerful. I'm getting kind of passionate now. My hands, I'm like, I can feel it building in me, you know, like, yeah. So, sorry, I might be getting red over here, but I mean, there's nothing better than just, you know, having that passion, excitement, you know, like, to wake up a whole day and to drag through the whole day, no excitement, it's not worth living, really, you know.
Which is what a lot of people do.
Right, but there's another alternative, and if they're willing to explore it, they may find the cookie in the cookie jar. I'd be a little silly a little bit, or a cookie, you know. At least a cookie, you know. You can do something. You can do something, but it starts with, I think, planting the seed that I want to bring passion into my life every day. I need to have excitement. I have to find wherever that is. Go ahead.
Believing that it is possible and that you deserve that.
I think it's a birthright.
I wonder what you feel about guilt. You know, some people might believe that they don't deserve to have that passion, or they don't deserve to, you know, get out of that relationship or that job, and they feel like they're just stuck there and they can't do any better. Or I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on like, guilt holding people back from connecting with their soul.
Negative self-judgment. Negative self-judgment. But it's easy to do in our society. You know, our society trains us to, you need to be thinner, you need to be smarter, you have to have everything figured out. And you look around and no one has anything figured out. Everyone's trying to figure it out and keep up with the Joneses. And the Joneses got money in there, caught in scandals and, you know, adultery and all types of stuff. So, you know, the thing is, you're a powerful being no matter who you are. You know, you're connected to the energy that creates worlds. You're connected to infinite intelligence. So, knowing that, I believe if you exist, then you deserve to exist. You know, you may be out of alignment with what you should be doing, but, you know, this is just how I feel about it. If you are connected to infinite consciousness, if you're connected to Source, God, whatever you want to call it, the power that's able to create this earth that moves perfectly in perfect alignment around the sun and all the stars and galaxies, if you're connected in some way to that power, then some of that has to be within you, even if it's a spark of that power. If you can realize in your own way, in my opinion, you are infinite, but you can be more. But I'm lacking the words that really give it the oomph that it deserves. But I guess the best way I can put it is that any self-judgment, negative self-judgment, is really just disconnecting from your truth, your power, your almost godlyhood, I would say, to some degree. You know, your power, you know. And I think that people have moments of being in a certain state where they can feel that. I think like actors and singers and dancers, you'll see performances. And like, for example, I think I was watching Motown 25 with Michael Jackson, and he, as silly as it is, when he was up there, he was in command of every second of the music. And I remember I was looking at it, he stuck his hand up, and he went like this to the musician player to play the music, every beat he was on. He knew where everyone else. He didn't trip or fall, he just was in alignment. And I think that's what I search for. That's what I search for, those moments where you just feel infinite, invincible, powerful. You know, just it's kind of, I don't know if words really describe the passion of it. And I think that everyone deserves to at least strive to have those moments, and to maybe even try to live a life of that. You know, as much as they can. I call it extraordinary life, a life of passion, appreciation, love. That's not saying you're going to not have challenges and headaches and things that bring you down, but you become a force, because your force doesn't come from here. It comes from here. It comes from your truth, and no one can tell you what your truth is except you. And you live in that truth. And that's kind of my journey, to live in that truth and be that truth. And your life has to align to it. Law of attraction at its best. The reason law of attraction sometimes doesn't work is because you say, oh, I want this, but these they're not aligned. And then the actions you take, even if you like feel you're here and you feel you're here, your actions aren't aligned with that. So it's kind of a three-part process, you know. You know, you got your beliefs, you got your emotions, you got your actions. But the most important is your state of being. The most important is the state of being, because it affects everything else around you because you're interconnected to everything. That's basically what law of attraction says. What you put out is what you get back. You know, what you resonate is what pulls yourself back to you. You see it all the time.
And then some, like what you put out, you get back, but even more in return. Do you believe?
I don't know, because I don't know. It depends on each person, you know, what they're radiating. I mean, you might have a lot of passion behind something, so if you're getting a lot back and you think it's more than what you can handle, you may not know that you've got hidden subconscious energies that are like boom, 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 boom. You know, it depends. But that's great, because that means if you can shift that, you can shift everything as well. You know, you can shift the people you interact with, and you'll see it. Like, you'll go out and you just have a day you're like, I'm on, and you don't have to wait in line for lunch, and you find extra money in the bank. That happened to me like a couple weeks ago. I was like, where does money come from? And I was like, I'm in state, you know. And it takes work. It's like climbing this mountain, and then sometimes you get up and you go, you got to reclimb. But you know, it's worth the climb when you're really connected to your truth, because no one can tell you different. It doesn't. I almost want to cuss, but I'm not going to cuss, you know, for this situation. But you don't give a damn what anyone else thinks. I know. Yeah. You don't give a damn, and you're just there, you know, and you're an unstoppable force. You really are. It sounds cheesy, but it really is true. You really, when your mind, your emotions, and your actions are aligned, you can get whatever you want. I mean,
you believe it's infectious, that when you go out there with that positive energy and that connection within yourself, that you can draw other people towards you and maybe in a way affect them, even they might not realize it at the time.
People, circumstances, inspirations, tools, equipment, whatever you need. It's because it's energy. Everything's energy. So it's not just the people you draw towards you or bring back to you, but the ideas you need, the inspiration of places you need to go, the dreams, you know. I look at it as every living thing, everything in the universe is energy first, you know. And we are perceivers of energy, but we've gotten to the point where we perceive it in such a dense way. You know, we kind of compartmentalize it where this is, but you're still energy in the end of the day. That's why if you walk into a room and, you know, let's say two parents are fighting, you can feel it as a child, because children are more perceptive and more connected to that type of understanding. Even if they may not know it, so like it's energy, they know it in a more conscious way than we are when we get older. We've put it more back here. But then sometimes we get older and we have depressions and things going on because we still can sense there's other things going on, but sometimes we don't deal with them. Sometimes there are other things at play. But go ahead.
So I guess, you know, you could say that people in the past, hundreds, thousands of years ago, were much more connected to this source, this soul within them and outside of them, and that through culture and the buildup of culture and society, that's kind of how we've caused ourselves to compartmentalize our lives and lose focus of ourselves and our true nature.
I'd say some cultures, not all. I think it's case by case. Some cultures who are aligned maybe with nature to some degree, because I think nature is a great teacher. It's a way of connecting. I think those groups had more of an understanding in their way. Because, like I said, we always all have access to it. Some, not so much. You're talking about certain ones maybe where they were enslaving people, and, you know, it's a different, it depends on, you're talking about history.
Would you, like, for example, like with health, if someone needs to take care of their body in order to connect with their soul, do you think that looking at, like, maybe traditional medicine practices or like Eastern medicine, incorporating something like that, do you think that would enable them to access their
I think they should first use their imagination, because their imagination is their way of communicating, their soul's way of communicating what they need. But also take some time to be sensitive to their bodies. Your body will tell you things if you quiet your mind and listen a little bit. But also it has to do with your belief system, you know, because if you look at it, some people take the same things and they have different results. You know, some people take things and it works great for them, other ones don't. So it has to align with your belief system too, because if you create your reality, and so if you have a belief system that says that, oh, this is not going to work, I'm going to do it, it's probably not going to work, or it's not going to work to the degree it can. Now, generally speaking, stuff that are more from the earth, more natural ways of healing tend to be better because it's more connected to, it's more natural, it's more aligned energetically, you know. So yeah, but it depends on who you are. Like I said, your imagination can help you do that. If you feel attracted to that, there's probably a reason for that, you know. That's kind of how I go kind of with my food sometimes too. I get an inspiration, I get this kind of like, ooh, oh, I gotta explore this more. Next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. and I've looked up like herbal remedies and special green teas and stuff, ayahuascas, or, you know, that's another story. But, you know, but see, like I'm always, like I say, I'm processing all the time, especially at nighttime, because I think a lot of times when people are sleeping, my processing just goes up, and it's like, now I don't have all this, because I can sense other people around me, and I can just really download stuff and process it and play with it. So if you're very sensitive, you might need to wait till when people are sleeping and then spend some time trying to process it, because you don't have all this other psychic noise like hitting you. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Mm-hmm.